days when I've knocked on doors and people have shut the door in my face. They've said, oh, this young girl is back again. But I just keep going because I'm not going to let that hold me back. I didn't, at a young age, know I was going to be the mayor, but I always knew that I would hold a position where I am campaigning, advocating, supporting others.
How would you say your faith has guided you throughout your journey?
At every step of the way, God's always shown me that you're called for this, princess. Keep going. Obviously, there are practical advice that mentors can give you, that spiritual advisors who may not be in that field cannot give you, but obviously vice versa, balancing it up.
Welcome everyone. This is the Way Up podcast where we discuss journeys of faith and steps towards the top. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Deborah.
We have today with us an amazing person, Councillor Bright. At the age of 22, she became the borough's youngest ever Labour councillor. And now she has been elected Mayor of Barking and Dagenham. So congratulations for that.
Yes.
Thank you. Amazing thing. Today's guest with the Bible passage, Proverbs 18:16. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Again, I would like to thank you for coming and joining us today at the Way Up podcast. Pleasure.
So we have a quick icebreaker. And we would just like to ask you if you could give us a character in the Bible who you believe resonates with you, or maybe who you can see a likeness in just anyone in the Bible.
Esther.
Why would you say that?
Courageous.
Yeah.
She's got a lot, but she understands herself. She's just the test of time. And she's someone that definitely cup to.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Saying that, do you feel like, we would get into your journey, but do you feel like at each stage of your journey, you've been able to withstand and be courageous at every single moment?
I think for me, definitely.
Yeah.
There's obviously been obstacles that I've had to overcome, which I'm sure I'll be able to get into.
Yeah.
But obviously standing firm in my faith, knowing that I'm called to do what I'm doing, and also understanding that what I'm doing is not for myself, but for a huge generation and for my community. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that. So just to kind of let us get into it, can you just tell us a bit about your upbringing and just kind of give us an insight into what has shaped you into who you are today?
So where do I start from? So my name is Councillor Princess Bright. I'm 29 years old. I started my journey into politics over 2 decades ago. I was born and raised in Hackney to a mother who was in politics, and my dad's a father. My father is a pastor, so typical pastor's kid.
Yeah.
But regardless of being a pastor's kid, I mean, my parents have been, I say, they've shaped who I am today. And I say that because they've always been the type to give back to the community, be selfless. There's a saying that if you give, you receive. And my parents have always taught me that there's more in giving than receiving. And for me, that has shaped me in everything that I've done, from being very young and following my mum's footsteps. So to highlight, my mum is in politics. She's been in politics for 2 decades. Wow. So growing up, I've been in a household where I've mirrored and seen what my mother has done. Yeah. She's my mentor. The position that I hold now as mayor of Barking and Dagenham, she held it in 2006 when we were in Hackney. Yes. So I was very young at that time. And out of my siblings, I was the one who was keen, very enthusiastic to see what my mum was doing. So I'd follow her campaigning, pulling leaflets indoors, speaking to people, asking them to vote for my mum. That's the little that I knew then. But of course, all of this was shaping me to who I would become today. And as I said, it was great for me to be able to mirror her, see what my dad was doing in the church, how he was giving back every Sunday, serving, and making sure that his congregation are well. There's obviously more to life than just being someone who thinks about themselves. So being a selfless individual is very important. And even during my time in school, I held up leadership positions. So I was on the school council. I'm sure you know school council, you're advocating on behalf of others. At university, I was course rep. So I've always held up positions whereby I am discussing things on behalf of people, advocating on behalf of individuals. So then when we moved to Barking and Dagenham, I was part of the Labour Party. So I joined the Labour Party quite young, at 18. So I was heavily involved in campaigns, supporting my MP at that time. and really serving him, bringing young people out, getting them involved in politics, rallying the youth, which is very important because we obviously understand that young people don't really find politics interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
But making them feel like, okay, this is something that I can get into, seeing myself as a role model is very important. So I then got into the Labour Party, became a councillor at 22, and then I served for 7 years as a councillor. And in that role, it varied from dealing with casework to lobbying for campaigns in my local constituency. And I think based on the track record of the 7 years of serving, I was appointed mayor this year, which I thank God for.
Yeah.
It's by his grace.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, your mum was heavily involved in politics, and she actually held the role before you did.
She did.
And I guess your insight and experience into that kind of area, do you feel like from that time you always knew that, okay, one day I'm going to become the mayor, or was it always the skill set? So was it always, oh, I will always give back to my community in whatever capacity I'm in? Or was it strictly, no, this is what I'm doing. I will become the mayor. I will become the prime minister.
Well, I love the fact that you mentioned prime minister. We've still got a long way to go. But in terms of mayor, I mean, when I was growing up and I was mirroring what my mum was doing, getting the experience through her, I didn't, at a young age, know I was going to be the mayor, but I always knew that I would hold a position where I am campaigning, advocating, supporting others, being the voice for the voiceless, having a seat at the table where others may not. Yeah. I mean, when I moved to Barking and Dagenham, because of how much I served my MP, he actually, should I say, reached out to me and said, Princess, I believe you could take this further, because I was just doing campaigning then. Yeah. I was part of the Labour Party, campaigning, supporting for local and general elections. It didn't really dawn on me that all of the skill set that I was building up through helping others, I could pour it into myself and then become elected. Yeah. So I remember having that conversation with him back in 2017. I was obviously finishing university at that time. And he said to me, I mean, look at how much you've supported me. You've brought out young people. Clearly, the skill set is there, and we need young people in politics. We want to show the generation to come that they can hold up such positions. And I would say he kind of endorsed me to becoming a councillor. He supported my campaign. And that's one thing I definitely want to highlight, the importance of serving others, because at a time when you least expect it, someone will then have your back. And that was my MP. And I thank God for him, because he paved the way for me. And obviously during my 7 years as a councillor, he still mentored me alongside my mum, supported me, the kind of moves that I made while I was on the council, the positions that I held while I was on the council. I was able to prove my expertise, because a lot of people, I'd say, due to my age, have in the past downplayed my intelligence, my experience, because obviously a common politician is not 20, a common politician is not 30. But I've had to obviously go above and beyond to prove that, yes, I have the experience, I have the expertise, and I also have the backing. And that for me is really important, and what has definitely kept me going to where I am today.
Yeah. What are the things you would say helped you to kind of ensure that you were proving yourself without kind of maybe offending other people? Or is that something you didn't really care about in your journey? Was it just, I'm just focusing on where I'm going? Or at times where you're like, okay, I need to make sure I'm staying within my boundaries, per se? I
think it's about striking the right balance.
Yeah.
So in terms of proving myself, I'd go above and beyond. So say, for instance, we're campaigning in our local area once a week. I would rally young people out, and we're going out 2 times, 3 times a week. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it's all about power in numbers. If we can get loads of people out to come and vote for a specific person to get into a position, they will see an uptake in political engagement in the borough. If they're seeing the posts on social media, oh wow, she's out again, she's enthusiastic, she's resilient, she's going to keep going. There have been days when I've knocked on doors and people have shut the door in my face. They've said, oh, this young girl is back again. But I just keep going, because I'm not going to let that hold me back. And that's what I think is very important. I mean, there's going to be times when just in life you come across obstacles, but it's knowing yourself and knowing the purpose, what you're called to do, and that's what keeps you going. And I mean, I've had various obstacles that I've had to overcome, including stepping aside from roles, like resigning from corporate roles in the past to really fulfill my passion for the community. And at every step of the way, God's always shown me that you're called for this, Princess, keep going. And like I said, that's definitely what keeps me going, seeing the changes in my community, seeing young people proud, out, getting involved, wanting to have a voice. Usually in Barking and Dagenham, which is my borough, we see the turnout of young people at local elections very low. Yeah. It's increasing on a year.
I think in many boroughs, actually.
In many boroughs.
Yeah.
I can only speak for Barking and Dagenham,
yeah.
but we're seeing it increase on a yearly basis because why? They're seeing young people taking up these positions. They're seeing a young person who's elected in the room that they may necessarily not be in, but it means that their voices are represented because in council meetings, if they're discussing anything involving young people, I will definitely speak on the topic because I can put myself in the shoes of my residents who are young. I mean, we've got a diverse borough, but I'm just talking about the fabric of the young people.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Would you say your path to becoming the mayor has been straightforward? So you mentioned certain things like being endorsed by the MP. You also mentioned stepping aside from your corporate role. Can you just please explain a bit further about, your journey and maybe explaining further setbacks, or how straightforward was it getting to where you are?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy. Yeah. It has come with its challenges. As I highlighted, I've had to, I wouldn't say prove myself, but really serve. Because, to hold up the position of mayor, you're essentially the first citizen of the borough, the ceremonial figurehead. So if anyone's going to think of Barking and Dagenham, they're going to think, okay, who's the mayor? Who is she? So I'm basically responsible for all of the residents in Barking and Dagenham, quote unquote. Yeah. So for me, being so young and being in my journey in politics, I've had to show, or should I say show, not just my residents, but even the people in the council, that when this position is given to me, I will be able to hold it to the highest dignity, because the role is very traditional. It has its core values. And for me, when I say working hard and working smart, that's one thing I try and balance it, because there's one thing where you're working hard and you're just putting in the hours, but working smart is connecting with the right people, building partnerships, supporting other people, being close to the right people, so that when it comes to your turn, which is for me, they're there to support me. So if we think about this election that took place, it was an election it was an easy one. I was up against other people. Yeah. I had to do a speech. I had to explain what my vision and mission is for the role of mayor, why I'm the best candidate for it. But because of my track record and because what I'd done on the council for 7 years, I was able to prove myself. But the work that I had done had really spoke for me. So it's not like I was actually having to speak so much. They were able to realize that, okay, she has done this for 7 years and she's willing to give it her all, because I did mention in my speech that if appointed, I will resign from my corporate role, which I did earlier this year. Yeah,
and one thing I would say is that actually, I guess before you became mayor, maybe because I have personal interests in, politics and stuff, I used to see you on LinkedIn, and I just thought it's so interesting how times have changed and how to say, people in positions of power, they use social media. How would you say social media has impacted your journey, your goals, and even sharing your achievements? What role has that played?
I'm a huge advocate for social media. Huge advocate for social media. On LinkedIn, different social media platforms are great for certain things. Yeah. Given the fact that I had a great corporate career until I stepped aside early this year, I would use my social media platform, especially LinkedIn, to make the right connections. Because even as mayor now, there are connections that I've made on LinkedIn that are making my mayoral year much more smoother. Because events that I'm doing when I'm trying to raise a lot of funds for my charities, I have big organizations, companies, key partners that I've worked with reaching out, keen to support my vision. If I wasn't sharing what I was doing and just be very quiet about it, no one would know. No one would know. So I think if no one else is going to shout about what you're doing, you should do it yourself. And I'm a big advocate for sharing successes, sharing goals, whether they're big, small, medium, achievements, sharing them for the world to see. It's not about being overly cocky or bragging, but it's about encouraging other people and inspiring other people to do X, Y, Z. So for me, especially when I posted about becoming a councillor, a lot of people who were, not even a councillor, but I'd say even mayor, a lot of people who are in the corporate space, they had reached out to me shocked that, wow, how can you make such a transition? Or how does it work? Or how are you balancing both for such a long period of time? It enables me to then share more share more of a light in terms of how I was balancing it, what I've done, why I decided to step away, and encourage other people that you can get in public service while still having a corporate role. And I mean, when it comes to a time when it's difficult to balance both, it's just about making the right decision, praying, which is what I did do, and then realizing that for me it's politics for now that I'm going to focus on and making that decision. But since being a mayor, I mean, I've been using social media. I will continue to use it because it's not about just reaching my people in Barking and Dagenham. It's about outside as well, starting local, national, and global.
Yeah, thank you. And then, lastly, just you mentioned it, your prayer. How would you say your faith has guided you throughout your journey? Even, I guess, speaking to other young people who are trying to get into particular careers that maybe are different from what they're used to. How would you say your faith played a part in that?
A huge part. As I mentioned, obviously, I've been brought up in a Christian household, but I think there's more to that. For me, I've been able to build a deeper relationship with God in the sense of I'm speaking to him on a daily basis, because there have been huge obstacles that I've had to overcome that without God by my side telling me or showing me signs, I would not have been able to navigate. When I obviously took the decision to resign from my corporate role this year, it was a huge decision. I mean, even just think of it from a financial perspective, I'll be very transparent, a huge one. But as I've been in the role now 2 months, he keeps showing me on a daily basis, this is the right decision, and it keeps me going. But for any young person, I mean, mentorship, I would say, even aside, is very important. I've obviously had mentors who have kept me in check and spiritual advisors, so both, because obviously there are practical advice that mentors can give you that spiritual advisors who may not be in that field cannot give you, but obviously vice versa, balancing it up. So for me, I have a spiritual advisor who I've had for a period of time. I even appointed him when I became mayor, because I obviously know that this is a journey that will come through ups and downs. So keeping him there, being able to call him on a daily basis or whenever I need to just speak to him about issues I'm going through, because politics, we know it's a very dynamic field. But also for young people, I would say having mentorship, seeking God, reading the Bible, being very open and honest with close ones that you trust around you, just speaking up, seeking that help. Because, I mean, if you box things inside of you, you're never going to get answers. And you always have to ask questions to get solutions to what you're looking for. But yeah, faith has played a big role. Having the right mentors and the right people around me keeps me going. And I'm lucky enough to have them around me. But I'd say for any young person, do seek out for help. Even if you look into your church, I'm sure there's people in your church that you can turn around to who can support you. Mentors in your church who may be in the field that you're looking to get into. Don't feel shy to ask questions. I think that's very important. I'm a chat box, everyone says it, but I'm always asking questions. People who are ahead of me, trying to find out how they got there, how they navigated the space, and I will keep doing that even as mayor. I think it's very important.
Great, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, your words were very insightful. I think we've all learned a lot today.
Thank you.
It's not every day you sit with a mayor. So we're very grateful that you came, and yeah, we hope you learned a lot about yourself as well as you were speaking to us. So yeah.
Thank you again for coming. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot for sure. And I'll just summarise on most of the things that you've said. So we learned that from a very young age, because of your mum and also your dad had an impact in your career and what you wanted to do in life. By following the footsteps of your mum, you served a lot of people. And I think you really emphasize on serving people, because in the end, even if that's not your goal, they end up serving you as well. So that's something that I will take away, and I hope our viewers too take that away. Another thing you mentioned as well is that one of the challenges that you'd say you faced was obviously because you were young, and you had to not so prove yourself, but show that because you are young, you can still do the work. Correct. And it helps with having a young face in politics for all the other younger people too, the youths, everyone in not only even your community, but people outside of the community, whether it's Greenwich, Barking and Dagenham, anywhere. Just to have someone that you can relate to. It's good to have a familiar face and being consistent. You said that how you're going to doors, they will shut the door in your face, but you still went. And I really like that, because I'm sure me, I would have left. But you kept going and kept going. And I'm sure that consistency, because they kept seeing your face, they're like, okay, let me listen to what she has to say. So I thank God that he gave you that courage to keep going. Thank God for your parents as well, because they really showed you a good way for you to follow. And as well, it was very important for you to have people that you can trust and lean to and support. So thank you again for joining us. It's a big privilege. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to our viewers as well. And we hope you enjoyed it.